Okay. Last part. Because I realized I never spoke about this specific thing, which is really important for everybody to understand. If you do not have the right receptors set up in order for you to um to show love, uh and to receive love, you will never be able to engage in those proper scenarios. Um, I was saying, I think I said capitalism earlier gives us, yeah, I think I was saying earlier that capitalism is one of the best examples of true love because you can't get a job unless you apply. But when you go, the job even asks you what you want to be paid. They ask you when you go for your interview, right? And there's a back and forth in terms of you checking them out and them checking you out. If you don't like the company and you don't like, the process of being trained, you can quit, right? But as long as you are there, you are going to get paid. But as long as you are there, you have to adhere to their rules. But as long as you're adhering to their rules, it's mandatory for them to pay you. There's like a back and forth that that is assumed, and nobody holds their tongue on any end. If you have a bad day with one of your managers, you don't not work your job. If your job stops paying you for a little bit, you don't just never go back to work ever again. I've had times where my job missed me on a pay week and there was nothing they could do, and they had to pay me the following week and up it and all kind, like, you know what I mean. There's been all kinds of situations that I know you and all kinds of people have dealt with their job, but we deal with it because it's our job. We see it as a literal vehicle to survival. But what if I told you that there is no survival unless you find someone of the opposite sex to fuck with? How can you, like, when you die, how do you survive? Isn't it not your children? So then, isn't there more of a responsibility to building relationships than it is to building money? Okay. And if we're going to be that loyal to our job that disrespects us like that, then how much more loyal should you be to your man? That's what we're talking about. Because the men have to deal with capitalism. It is a construct built from the the way men compete to figure out who is the best, right? It's been warped because now chicks are in it, and it allows for a lot of fucked up inflation of numbers, so that the guys who are actually aren't even innovating, actually aren't the best, continue to win. I think I said in one of the earlier videos, ISIS exists because I'm about to buy that new iPad. That's the reality, man. And until we realize that and say, okay, we still need an iPad, but we need to be able to get our hands on an iPad without creating ISISes, that's when we can have some worthy conversations. But that starts at home. But that starts then between man and woman. And that's why my music is on this R&B shit. Because I hope if I can help men and women communicate, like I've always had problems communicating my thoughts to people. And that's why I think I really do these videos, so that I can really just be out there and people could just call me out on my bullshit if they feel it's bullshit, or we could have open debate. But I'm never talking to say this is final. I'm saying this is what I finally concluded to myself. What other conclusions have you guys come to? Is it similar? Do we see the same? Do you guys not see family building as a two-person job that requires both individuals to play their own roles? That we can't really double up on roles, and when we do double up on roles, then we put an extra levy on ourselves to have to not be like handled in other ways that you expect that relationship to handle you. And if that's the case, then maybe you need more people to be a part of that relationship. But that's another whole other conversation that we ain't even ready to have. So right now, I just want folks to be able to connect with the ones that they already say they love. Understand that love has a loyalty clause. It is mandatory for you to fill your role. You can never drop your role because of how you feel that person made you feel that day. Cause that means that nigga would drop you every day. Cause women don't realize how often their emotions be changing up and switching up on us all through the day. And they acting like they move and act just like us. They act like in the workplace, like they ain't fucking holding themselves like crazy just to finally come home and let loose on they nigga. Like, stop doing that. Cause the nigga had to deal with that already. He had to be in the workforce. They made y'all have to go. We, the niggas, don't want y'all there. We want to be able to fight amongst men, come home to our women, and love you, and care for you, and innovate with you, and then go back out and say my innovation is better than your innovation, and like, you know what I mean, and win that way off of building something in the home. But y'all worried about what's going on out there versus in your home. That's why your kids being raised by television sets, electronic. Like, you have to understand, if your kid ain't like me, the one who's like, yo, I just want to learn. I don't give a fuck what I'm on, and just learning shit. Your kid is most likely just Instagramming their life away. Your kid is most likely vining their life away. And not all of them are going to become Vine stars, okay? Majority of them just going to become Vine sheep. So that means you need to be hands-on with your kids. And I'm not talking about hands-on with literature. I mean hands-on with hustle. This is how you grow. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you build. This is how you make a company. So like we have to be hands-on, man. The kids have a lot of, they're sponges, man. And as you get older, your brain putrefies itself. Like, I don't even think that's the right word, man. Because see, I'm older and I don't give a fuck about words no more. You get what I'm saying? So it's the fact that my mom read to me and forced me to read, and I hated reading, but she forced me to read, but she was hands on and did it. Like, she spoon fed me words. That's why I could even speak properly to y'all. Because honestly, I'd be one ignorant motherfucker in terms of trying to communicate at all. You wouldn't understand anything, slang, nothing, nothing. Cause I promise you, I'd have just been speaking Yardy. I promise you. I promise you. Like, I promise you. But anyways, that's what happens when you don't set your rules right to um to ensure the love is gonna come from a true place. If you don't value all the different sides that people play in your life, if you only just value money and you don't value how other relations play a role in your life, then you fuck yourself over. Look, you have to understand, I've had to forsake every relationship that was not musically birthed because of how I dedicate myself to music. There's family members and friends that I want to spend time with. That's why I have no time to holler at a girl. If I want to build family, I would build with the family I already have. And maybe meet a girl from the connects that they know, from people that is safe, from people that is trusted. I don't need to be going out in the wild trying to find random bitches. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep to me. But I realize that this world, we're all the same. So I don't care where you came from, where you come from, what your background is. We all the fucking same. But I don't deal with bullshit. She's like, I don't. I don't. I don't. Or I wouldn't have the accolades that I have. And I think it gets confused a lot. You know, because I believe a lot of us, we don't deal with bullshit. But then we take that attitude, and then when we come to our own people, we treat our own people with standoffish. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if I'm Jamaican, I get it if, I'm dealing with, you know, someone who's Trinidadian or somebody who's St. Lucian. In order to connect culturally, there has to be some kind of conversation, in order to figure out level grounds, there needs to be some kind of attenuation. But if I'm dealing with another Jamaican, it should be automatic that we on the same page for what our wins are culturally, based on everything historically we've gone through, not just as me and you personally, but as a people. And if you can't then understand that between yourself and other Jamaicans, then I don't want to hear yourself between yourself and other black people. Then I don't want to hear yourself between yourself and the world. You know what I'm saying? If you can't connect with your own blood, you know what I'm saying? Right now, I have to, before I even upload this video, I have to get on par with certain things. With people who've wronged me, you know what I'm saying? But I have to get on par with certain things because I believe ethically in practicing what you preach. And with my own parents right now, I gotta reach out to them and be like, yo, be tens, because yeah, I'm angry at y'all for everybody moving the way they move, but y'all can't let me slip like that. And then if I'm slipping, then I gotta say, yo, I'm slipping. So there's always a back and forth that needs to be happening between our family members, and I don't think we have them enough. I don't feel. I think we're afraid to have them. I feel we're afraid to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm willing to be honest publicly. Folks are afraid to be honest on the low, like in between, just with their people they care about. But these are the people you're building with. When you're sad, when you're lonely, these are the people who cheer you up. These are the people who come in and knock on your door and say, hey, you okay today? Hey, make sure you clean your this. Hey, you know what I'm saying? How could you forsake those people? How the people who came, when you lost friends, they mourn with you, man. When you lost money, they lend you, man. These are the people we're talking about, man. We're not talking about strangers on the street trying to do business with. Because capitalism, the rule of capitalism is very straightforward. And we could just do what we need to do and just wait for the consumers to tell us what we need. And that's all we really need to do, the consumer. Right? Until we start realizing that our government is a part of capitalism, and that also then needs to listen to the consumer, we're not gonna be able to fix anything. But I'm saying in the home, man, with your own people, man, the rules need to be different, man. Y'all gotta understand that the cares and thoughts of your young ones really matter. What they really want really matters. What your kids want really matters. And what their kids are gonna want even matters more than anybody whose thoughts are even alive right now. So you can't build in such a way that puts such a rigid regimen towards your kids. You have to always allow for the greatest innovation to thrive next generation. And that's what I'm talking about, man. If we respect each other on ground floor, like, that's the one thing, my parents respected my hustle. They're hustling, they hustle all day, working. My mom real dedicated in church, you know what I'm saying? She's, yo, oh my gosh, the way I was dedicated in church from that level of hustle, which got me really musically regimented, man. Like, I was just in the cut. And that regiment had me continue to push my music in a certain way, just consistently every day. In the home, they just used to bang, 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 boom, 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 because the music's just blaring. And they had to respect that. They respected my hustle. They don't know none of the people I work with. They don't know nothing. Like, everybody in my city want to act like they this because they get a few this and a few blog this and a few love this and 1,000 this, few thousand. But I can't tell my parents that I produce for y'all and they care. My parents don't care. Like, that's the thing. We get too hype up. You get what I'm saying? That's why I can't hype up off of the 1, 2 things I've done in the hip hop scene. That's nothing until I go and say, Mom, yo, Celine Dion. Get what I'm saying? Until I say, Mom, yo, Shania Twain. Until I say, Mom, yo, Beyonce. And the thing is, you guys don't even understand how close a lot of those storylines are. But it doesn't really it doesn't really matter until it matters. You know what I'm saying? So there's no point in me speaking on so much other things. Just the reality is, you know what the people around you are doing with their hands. And let's start respecting that. All right, that's the first step, man. Respect your local scene for what it's actually doing, how it's actually feeding you. You know what I mean? In your homes, the people who feed you, not just physically, not just emotionally. Gotta look at it from all sides. Okay? Let's respect that before we want to start respecting our people we don't know. Fans, Twitter followers, and Instagram followers, Facebook friends that you've never met. You know what I'm saying? Respect the people who are in your midst who are willing to build with you day to day. Respect that. Build a love for that. You know what I mean? Anyways, I got other shit. I got some. I got other things. So that's the end of this series. I guess I was gonna do a video tomorrow with like this is the end and just this is how I used to look. This is how I look. Whatever. We'll see. But yeah, I'm done. Good night.